I was away inside of the military. I had an active duty that I had to do, and I trusted my wife to just be a wife that she needed to be, loyal, look after the house, just do everything that she should be doing. However, what I discovered upon returning home just a few years later was that she was completely the opposite of that, and my family knew about it the whole time, and they didn't say anything, and this is what I found out. I feel like a fool, because my wife's ex knows something that I do not. I should have listened to my friends when they told me that my wife was not right for me. They told me that she was forever going to be obsessed with her ex, but I was blindsided all by her attention. It was your typical story where a geek, a nerd, fell in love with one of the most beautiful girls that I could find in this town. The only problem was that said girl, who we'll refer to as Eliza, had just got out of a relationship and she frequented my parents' tea shop a lot with all of her buddies. Well, that's how we met and soon became friends, and, well, one night, she was stuck there because her car would not start, so I drove her home, and that was the very first time we had a conversation. She tells me that she had just found out that half of her friend group had slept with her ex. Now, she did not have any friends at all, so she starts to frequently come to my parents' tea shop where I worked most of the time. I was trying to come up with some money just to start something of my own. I studied online because it was cheaper. Eliza surprisingly made a move on me several months after we met, but she wanted to keep things a secret, so I didn't tell anyone. Not even my father, and my dad and I were going through a rough patch because of my stepmom. She was accusing me of pocketing some of the profits, when that was not the case at all. I honestly thought that it was one of her kids. They never worked, but they always seemed to have money. So let's fast forward 6 months and my father passes. My stepmother was now running the shop straight to the ground. I was having problems in my relationship as well, and Eliza still seemed so obsessed with her no-good-for-nothing ex. I'd seen her search history, right? She was stalking him. He lived in another city now and was pretty successful, and at the same time, I was 27 years of age and barely scraping by. That's when I decided that I was going to enlist in the military. My father, he's dead, and the woman I loved did not seem to be that interested in me. When I told her all this, she was not very happy about it. I think it scared her so much that she blocked her ex everywhere and asked if we could get married. She said that she loved me because I cherished her and brought stability into her life, and something that her ex always failed to do. Well, I had to think about it hard for a while, considering our history, and in the end I was just a poor man in love with somebody who had my whole heart. When it came to her, I just lost rational. I did, every bit of it out the window. She knew that and made sure to use it to her advantage, so. Then I married her, and decided that maybe I was going to stay, but after the marriage I realized that I was simply not making enough money to take care of her. She was now a housewife. She said that she struggled with her mental health, and it was making it hard for her to go to work. Well, my stepmother was running the tea shop straight to the ground, and I was just finding work wherever I could. So, you know what, then I told her that I would have no choice but to go for army training for a while, and when I come back we would have saved enough money to do something productive, and she was a bit sad about it, but surprisingly she said she understood. The old her would have thrown an absolute tantrum and wanted me to leave at all, no cost, Well, before I left we had a massive argument, a fight. I found out that she was talking to her ex again on Snapchat. When I asked her, that was, what's it about? She said that they were just friends. I made her promise to stay loyal to me, and I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I could never understand the power that the cheater held over her. But I decided that I was not going to work myself up over it. I was the one who was married to her while he was out there somewhere doing who knows what. Well, my focus was to work hard for our family, and once I came back, I was going to make sure that we would start building our family. So then I left, and I've been gone for over 3 years now. I came back home a couple of nights ago, and I was in an Asian country, but I will not mention which one just for privacy reasons. It was a bit difficult in the beginning, but I felt the experience was needed. I made some friends for life, and I would honestly do it all over again. There were some very dangerous situations, I'd say, for me. It was the field I was working in. I just made sure to keep in contact with my wife during this hard time, and we had set time for video calls, and to her credit, she never missed one. She also told me that she took a short course and was now working a bit, and I was so proud of her for taking advantage of something new, even if it meant we could not talk all of the time. But for 3 years, I've wanted to see her. She's been the light in my life and what keeps me going throughout the day. Well, now that I'm home, my main priority is for us to finally settle down, have children, and have them running around the whole white picket fence lawn. We have saved enough money to either invest or start our own business, and I also have my degree, so if I want to, I can get a corporate job. Things are looking up. When I came home, I decided I'm going to splurge a bit, buy her some jewelry. She loves beautiful things, and I've not always been able to get her for them, but I felt that she deserved it. She's been a good wife and kept our house as a home for 3 long years. Well, that's what I was feeling until I bumped into the last person I ever wanted to see, the object of her past obsession, Anthony. I was just enjoying my coffee, 1 sugar, at a restaurant out of town, and I was meeting with an old buddy from the military to catch up. My wife was on the way to join us, and her friends had invited us for a week at their beach house. As I was sitting there, Anthony called my name, and when I saw him, he laughed and asked if it was really me. Well, we knew each other because we had bumped into each other several times, even when Eliza and I were dating. I had changed so much and did not look like that puny little guy that he once knew. I knew that he was just trying to get a rise out of me. After all, he's not grown up one little bit, and I just smiled at him and told him that it was good to see him. He told me that he had to buy me a meal to welcome me back into the country and thanked me for my service. Well, I asked, why would he buy me a meal when I could just do it on my own? He said that he was feeling generous, and I told him, no thanks, buddy, because I was waiting for a friend. He said then that the next time he would thank me for being so understanding, and I assumed that he meant that I was not making a big deal about him and Eliza being friends. So I tell him that he and Eliza were old friends. Of course I would be understanding, and then he asked if I, was really, okay with us being a part of each other's lives from now on. Well, what the hell? I asked him what he meant about that, and he told me to ask her. So I sent her a message telling her that I just bumped into her ex. Well, what was her ex thanking me for? Eliza sends a message back saying that she would explain when she gets there. Well, I haven't heard from her since, and she was supposed to have gotten here earlier. I'm losing my marbles. Hoping that what I'm thinking would have happened while I was away. Did I just shake hands with someone who's been doing things with my wife? I hope not, because I'm not in the mood for this right now. Why do I feel like I'm about to regret marrying her and trusting her? My friends told me to be careful of her because she was lethal. But did I listen? No. I'm sitting here while Anthony is laughing because he knows someone that I do not. When Eliza gets here, she's going to have a lot of explaining to do, that I can tell you. What's up, everybody? Oh boy, today's story is a heated drama, and you know what? I hate to say it, but I think she's a cheater. I guess we're going to find out because there's 6 updates for this one, and they are action-packed. If you guys are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, take a second, hit that button. It does support the channel. It's right underneath this video, and it says subscribe. Alright guys, thank you for that. Here's the first update, and, well, you might want to kick your legs up and grab your favorite soda for this one. Update number 1. Well, dip me in paint and call me a clown, because I'm the most stupid man in this world. I've just found out that my wife's been lying to me for years, and my whole family knew about it. They just didn't tell me because they're spiteful people who like to see me hurt. Not even my father's sister told me, they just kept quiet, thinking that I would deal with this when I get back home. And, I think a little warning would have been nice, so that I would not have to keep on wasting my time with this woman. She was never going to come to the weekend thing because she knew that soon I would find out that she cheated on me and had a child with her ex. Yeah, that's right. She did it. I had to grill my family and ask them what's going on with her when she did not show up, and that's when they asked me why I was still expecting her to show. I asked what they meant by that, and they said that surely by now she would have told me about what she did. My stepmother only gave me half the story and told me that she was busy. She then told me that she owed me nothing since I never visited her when I came back to town. So then I had to go to the gossiper of the family and bribe her to tell me what everyone else already seemed to know. My stepsister told me that she said that while I was away, my wife started to see her ex again. No one said anything about it to me because they're all a-holes. They also did not care about my life and thought that I was just a simp for my wife. She ended up getting pregnant and giving birth to a baby boy. Everyone knew that the child could not have been mine since I was away. When they confronted her about this, she told them to stay out of her marriage. They assumed that I was okay with this and decided not to pry, but where was the child? I'd been home and not seen any sign of a kid. My stepsister tells me that she didn't know. Maybe the child was with Anthony, but I had not seen the kid with Anthony when I saw Anthony. He didn't have the child with him. Be as it is may, it's clear that I need to talk to Anthony about this and find out where the hell he's hiding the child he had with my wife run under my nose. This has to be a lie. There's no way that she would do this to me, knowing that I was coming back. We had plans for the future, and she would not plan things with me if she knew that she cheated on me. It's so hard for me to believe that she would be so heartless, so ruthless. But I don't know. She hasn't even been answering her phone since. Update number 2. 1 week has passed. Hey guys, it's a week since my last update, and to be honest, it's been a hell of a week. I have to come face to face with the reality of whom I married. That is what someone asked when I checked my comments, and you asked me why I married her when I knew that I was going to be away for 3 years. Well, that's because I was doing it for us. I also wanted to make it easier to take care of her when I was away, and she had not really spoken much about Anthony in a while, and I was stupid to believe that he was truly gone out of our lives. When it comes to her, I've often been blind, but now my eyes, they're open. There were some supportive comments with suggestions as well about what I could do next, so thank you for all those comments, especially the person who told me to make sure that she has no access to any of my assets. While I made some funds available to her when I was away, I never gave her full access to my money. She has a shopping addiction and sometimes spends time without thinking, so thank you for the helpful advice. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let me tell you about my confrontation with Anthony as well as the sick, twisted things I found out about the whole thing. If I thought he was a jerk before today, I think he's the devil now, so it was easy to track down where he was staying. He has 2 houses, one of which he stays with his fiancé, and I had one of my friends look into it. We found out that when he would be there, well, this said friend also let me know that he was actually engaged to this girl. She posted it on her social media, but he did not. And the worst thing is, guys, get this, they had a 3-year-old daughter together. When I found this out, I had to think about why he would want to have an extra child with my wife. He already has a fiancé who was pretty well off, and a kid. Maybe it's just a way for him to mess with her mentality. I mean, who can understand that man anyways, whatever the reasoning was? I showed up at his other house, the one slightly closer to mine. Well, I'd been texting my wife literally all week, but she had not responded, so when I went home, she had packed all her things and left a sorry letter that was poorly crafted. There was absolutely no good reason as to why she did what she did, but I would deal with her after I found her lover. When he saw me, he welcomed me and asked if I was there to get that drink. I asked him where Eliza was, which was when he asked how he was supposed to know. So I asked him where the child was, but he did not want to tell me. I was not playing, so I lifted him up and pushed him against the wall. Then I explained in great detail some of the things that I could do to him if he did not comply. He then told me that the baby was with his mom. Eliza had dropped the baby 3 days before I was coming back home, and when I came there, she told him that I understood about the child and was okay with it. He figured I would be because of my love for her. Well, that's why he said what he said to me when we met, and it appears that she had lied to him and was planning on hiding the baby from me. It's not like my family was ever going to snitch, because I didn't talk to them. I left him there. realizing that talking to him was a waste of my time and there was so much more that I could be doing right now, like finding my wife. Knowing her, she was thinking of doing something drastic, and don't worry, I'm not planning on hurting her. At least not physically. However, she's going to be asking herself the question of who she really married. I'm not the same man who left. I will not forgive such disrespect, and I hope that she knows it. Update number 3. So, some of you suggested I just leave her alone and divorce her. Well, it would have been so easy for me to do that if she had actually responded to my messages. Instead, she was running away from me because she was avoiding confrontation. She planned to take the babies and skip the country, but was met with problems when the baby's grandmother would not release him. So she tried to withdraw some money from our joint bank account, straight up out of desperation, and that was how I found her. I went to the grandmother, who I was not sure knew that the woman was married. I should have gone to Anthony's mom first because what I found out left me flabbergasted. When I went there, I told her that I was going to get custody of the boy when we got divorced. I felt as if I was owed that, for she was not a fit mother. She said that I could not do that because her son is the father, and I said even so. He had the child with a married woman, and that child is mine. She then started crying and begged me not to make this any harder than it needs to be. She then said that her daughter-in-law needed this kid. So I asked what she meant by that, and she tells me that my wife had been used to having a baby with Anthony, so he could save the baby that his fiancé had. They found out that the baby was sick and would need marrow, among other things. Half or full sibling would be able to save him. The fiancé's family wanted her to get rid of the baby and just leave Anthony because they felt like he was not good enough for their daughter. But if she terminated, there was a chance that she would not be able to have more kids. Anthony then came up with a brilliant idea to use my wife and have a baby with her. He knew that she was still obsessed with him because she had been begging to see him since I left. So he indulged, got her pregnant, and has since been using the child to save the child that he had with the woman that he truly loved. He was planning to marry her, and soon Eliza would have no idea about it. And they were scared to tell her because they feared her reaction, but the truth is, the cold hard truth, is that he never loved her. He just wanted to use her so he could make the woman who loved him more happy. And now she was probably not going to see her son again if these people had anything to do with it. Now that I have this information, what the heck do I do with it? Update number 4, it's me again. Hey, I'm back with another update. It's almost 60 days since update 3, since I found out what happened, and since then I've been putting my plan into place. My first step was to contact my wife and tell her that I could forgive her and take care of the baby with her. It was so easy to trick her little mind into believing that I still wanted to be with her. With the number of times I've forgiven her for trying to contact Anthony, she just thinks that she can make a fool out of me. So I told her that I could not bear the thoughts of her leaving me for another person. I was so sorry that I was unable to be with her for those years, but things would change now, baby. I told her that I was willing to adopt the child and make him my son. Oh boy, she was over the moon. I then told the grandmother to give the child back to her and only ask for him when it was necessary. That then meant that both of us were the primary caregivers to Ray, who was a sweet little baby boy. I told the grandmother that if they failed to give us Ray at any point, I was going to make sure that Eliza knew that, well, she had planned and she had been played. That wedding was definitely not going to happen if the truth ever came out. So, guys, I did all this to bide me some time so that I could execute my plan. I had hell planned for both of them, but they had no darn idea. They really thought they could get away with it, and I was some sort of fool. The person I wanted to hurt the most is Anthony, of course, so I convinced her to allow me to adopt Ray. I told her that it would make it so much easier for him to get military benefits, and she was all for it. I told her that it was up to her to get Anthony to agree to this, and he could still see his kid, of course, but we were going to be the primary caregivers, no question asked. She somehow made it happen, and we're now in the process of adopting. Everyone thinks that they're getting what they want, but what they don't know is that I'm the person who stands to gain the most here. They underestimate my intelligence, which is why this revenge is all the sweeter. I promise that when everything comes tumbling down, they're going to cry. They're going to wish that they never betrayed me. They're never going to recover from this, and it feels great. And this is what helps me sleep at night. This is what allows me to smile at Eliza, bring her home fresh flowers, and compliment her beauty. It'll not be long before I'm rid of the curse that I call a wife. Update number 5. Whoa! I did not expect such big reactions last update, so yes, this is definitely a villain arc. This is what happens when you're too nice and allow people to take advantage of you. They walk all over you and expect you to just smile. Well, today they cried. Yep, they cried today. Today was the day that I served my wife divorce papers and filed for custody of our boy. It's been a rough 7 months since I took her back. It was also the day I revealed to her that Anthony had played her and he was getting married in a couple of weeks. She left the house in an absolute fit. The call I got from Anthony's mother later that day revealed to me that she made it over there, and she caused havoc. I got all this gory details straight from Anthony, who did not hesitate to text insults to me and tell me that I was going to hell for what I did. He told me that she barged into their house and went straight for him. She told his fiancé everything, including the fact that they were seeing each other. She also told her that Anthony told her to leave me so that they could get married. Well, I had no idea that he promised her the world. Probably to keep her in complacement when he was going to never do it. Would he have allowed me to adopt her son if he wanted to marry her? Ask yourself that. So, the problem with her is that she wants to have her cake and eat it too. Well, girl, this cake has no icing. She wanted my money, my adoration, my support, as well as Anthony's love. She never got over him, even though he continues to treat her like the bottom of his shoe. I should have never taken pity on her, should have never became friends with her, and should have never married her, and the worst part is that I will never know what my life without her would have been like, so I'm going to put on Ray's favorite cartoon, which will mindlessly consume as my phone blows up with messages from a very irate Anthony. I do wonder what lies he told to his fiancée, for I'm sure she was not very happy with him having a relationship with his ex. I hope that she takes this as a sign to leave him before he goes crazy. If there's anyone who deserves it, it's Eliza. Well, now that it's all over, I'm not sure what I'm meant to do. It all feels rather anticlimactic. I feel rather dull. I do know that divorce is going to be long and painful, and she's going to make sure she gets as much out of me as possible. But I'm prepared. I've been preparing for this for a long, long time. For what she does not know is that technically I'm broke. I do have money, but she can't access it. I made sure that in the months that I stayed with her, I found a way for, me to go broke. My net worth is much lower than hers, and I cannot tell you how I did it. But that was the final nail in the coffin for me. Update number 6. I'm back with a regular update. This is scheduled for you guys, and this is going to be the last update that I make. My son and I were leaving the country. Sayonara. Yes, I know that he's Anthony's son, but the court granted me the custody, and the teachers at his school, the neighbors, and even the parents testified on my behalf when it came to little Ray. They said that she had never been a good mother, and his life improved when I took over. You must be wondering what happened to his older brother, whom he was born to save. For now, the child is stable and does not need anything from Ray. Well, I spoke to the mother, who told me that she had given Anthony money from her savings so that he could handle the process of getting a surrogate. The story that he told his mom is just simply not true. He did have a choice over how he had the child. He just decided to pocket the money and take the easy route. You best believe that his fiancé wanted nothing to do with him after that, guys. She said that her parents and family always warned her that he was cheating, but she never believed it. Well, that day, when Eliza walked into the house with proof that they've been sleeping together, the truth slapped her in the face. She realized that she did not want to marry him anymore and kicked him out of the house. His mom took him in since she helped him with the lies and the beginning of it all. When my divorce was finalized, Eliza begged basically bragged to me that she had talked to Anthony and that they were going to work things out. Honestly, I didn't care what those two did because they deserved each other. One day she's going to end up in a mental asylum because of him. Anywho, we had to sell our house and split the difference, and then I liquidated the other assets that I had and started to make plans to leave the country with Ray. I found a very good job working with the army, but in the field that I studied at. It'll be an office job with a great pay and a very safe country. There's also good schools there, and I'm glad for Ray that I made the decision to adopt him. If I left him with those two nutty people, his life would have been so messed up. Update number 7. You thought it was over. Here I was thinking that stuff was over, and I just heard from someone back in my country that Anthony has been jailed. Apparently, he beat up Eliza after finding out that she was cheating on him. Now he knows how it feels to be cheated on, and he wants to dish it out, but he can't take it. At least Ray does not have to grow up with a father like that. Anthony has always been quite violent and straight-up misogynistic. Hardly the role model for a growing young boy. At least Ray has me, and hopefully he will have a mother soon. Let's just say that I met a very sweet, kind, and caring lady at work, and we're trying things out. She's a single mother to a little girl, and she's sweet-tempered, not jealous or controlling, and very respectful. She's the opposite of the woman with whom I wasted years with, and I'm hoping that things do work out. Even if they don't, at least now I know that I want to be with a person who treats me like a human. I don't want to be with a person who thinks that being with me is a favor. I stuck around for Eliza because she was so darn beautiful, and it was amazing to have such a beauty wanting to be with me. Well, what have I learned about this? Looks are not everything.